Okay, perfect. Very welcome to Electronic Pulse, the second edition this year. I'm very happy. Infineon, Industry Meets Makers, Technische Universität, of course, us are supporting this idea. Thank you for Infineon for initiating and giving the platform. I'm Rafael Asinger from FH Technikum Wien, University of Applied Sciences, in the technology field in Vienna. And we are very happy to contribute today a very, very interesting technology matter. This is artificial intelligence in sports. Beforehand, what do we do at FH Technikum Wien to support big companies like Infineon, big technology companies, and startups like Zone14, who will present today? It is the topic to mingle each other, to be open, to enable technicians and technology students, not only the know-how transfer, but also the possibility to learn hands-on, and to have the possibility to do their internships very early already with companies, but also that they can found a company, that you can start up. So you have two career paths. This is the traditional path with big companies, but you also have the career path of starting up a company. And we support this by our initiative, technology and entrepreneurship. And yeah, Lukas is one of the participants. We have many others already hosted and alumni participants. Last time, ToolSense pitched. Many of you may know Eversports. Others may know StoreMe, Storebox, also alumni from FH Technikum Wien, and many more who were students here and who we were very happy to accompany. Yeah, that's what we do. We also help, of course, finding human resources for big and small companies. So if you want to cooperate with our partnership, very welcome. We post jobs, we do events, we make the possibility of presenting companies and also startups at career events. So please feel free to join us or to contact me if you are looking for technicians, developers, whatever. Okay, that's from my side. I want to introduce also to my colleague Christoph Henrichs. We will co-moderate the day of today, and Christoph will accompany then the Q&A sessions, and if there are any questions in between, he will assist. Christoph, say hello.
Yeah. I won't say any more than hello because time is running. I'm just taking over later on when Rafael is in class and teaching, and I'm going to lead through Q&A. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, Christoph is responsible at the Technikum Wien for the Technikum Wien Academy. So it's not only studying and learning for the job, it's also training and studying on the job, continuous education and lifelong learning. So Christoph, if you have a topic on this, Christoph is the man you can contact. Yeah, and then I have the honor to finish talking and to introduce Lukas, our startup. But before I do this, are there any remarks from the partners, Sandra or other partners who want to say just a short hello?
Hello.
Oh, this is not the case. Oh yeah, Sandra, please say hello.
Nice to have you here, Lukas. Yeah, I'm Sandra from Industry Meets Makers, and I'm very interested in hearing your story.
Sure.
Yeah, great.
So,
Likewise.
is also on board, and Markus from Infineon. Just, you want to say a word?
Yeah, sure. I'm also very excited. Looking forward to this talk today. I'm happy to be in this network of corporates, universities, and national institutions who all support the entrepreneurial mindset and are eager to connect each other and everyone to this innovation ecosystem And of course, we're super excited that Infineon Austria, with the Infineon Hub at the Technical University of Vienna, is supporting this. Yeah, looking forward to the talk, and back to you, Raphael. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, finish with talking. Lukas, it's your turn. Lukas is a startup who joined us at the Technikum Wien last summer. We were very, very curious when you pitched the ideas. You already were on the finalists at others first. You just won the INITS pitching demo day. We saw you on television already. So you have a solutions for all these football training clubs to not only record, but to analyze trainings, football matches, and to give very, very fruitful feedback for trainers, for football players to improve. Lukas, the floor is yours. Great to see you here, and great you already talked me. You have already many customers on board for just starting up lately, and the floor is yours. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you all for having me here. Really excited to have this talk today. Yeah, let's talk about football. I mean, our mission at Zone14 is like Raphael already mentioned it, is to bring the stats and the video analysis from the Champions League basically to grassroots football. Well, as you already probably all know that like video and data analysis has found its way into professional football actually quite some time ago. It's pretty obvious, and you see like at every Champions League match, at every match, like the co-trainers with their tablet on the bench, having their earpiece in and talking with the analysts. So this is nothing new. Also now with the referees and the video assistant referees. So technology plays a big role in sports and in football. But yeah, there is a big difference if you have a look at amateur football. However, there is like a new generation of coaches are coming. They want to use video, they want to use data as they know it from their role models, like Julian Nagelsmann, Thomas Tuchel. And so the question is, why is it still not common in grassroots football to use analysis? And the question is actually pretty easily answered, because it's really cumbersome. It's really tedious. If you wanna measure, if you wanna track a match, currently you do sports coding, which means you have a look at the match and you have a screen next to you, like this one, as you can see, and a lot of buttons, and you click, say, okay, David Alaba, pass to Hinteregger, high pass to Arnautovic, cross, header, goal, and all these kind of things. Everything is a button click, and this is really, really tedious and annoying task. And on the other hand, you can have GPS trackers, and you have to hand them out to the players and assign the squad numbers, and then afterwards collect it again and put it on a box and upload it. And then you see, oh shit, my attacker hasn't given it back, hasn't returned it, so I can't measure that. And this is all really annoying. And in Austria alone, we have roughly 11,000 football teams. And like Germany is like 10 times more roughly. And basically due to these constraints, like only 1% of these 11,000 teams are really measured and tracked. And yeah, the reason is, I already said, it's really time consuming, but it's also very expensive. So there are like solutions for pros mainly, because cameras for 10,000 euro and like data solutions for 20,000 above per year. And there's also missing know-how, like how to put this data into action and how to put the videos into action. And we said there must be a better way, right? So when we first had the idea, basically like in an afterwork at an afterwork beer, we said, yeah, we're gonna change this, and we thought, okay, what's gonna be our first step? And for this, like Zone14 is not my not my first startup. So I had one after university. It's called Predictify. And we had a really nice product. We built a really nice algorithm that could predict the success of crowdfunding campaigns. But we, up until we launched, we didn't have any customer feedback. So, and spoiler alert, it didn't work as intended. So customers, it was much too techy for our customers. And this was a big mistake. And we said, we don't wanna make this mistake anymore. So how we started it is that before writing a single line of code, we were looking and trying to find customers for this solution. And we didn't want to build something for one club or two, but we wanted to have like a real nice average of all clubs, and to see like, is that something they want to have, they desire. So we have like FK Austria Wien in the Bundesliga, we have Wiener Sportclub in the regional league, tier 3, and then there's down until tier 7, like all different clubs. And we were asking them, do you want to work with data? How would you use it? And how much would it be worth to you? And we said we would generate all this data just from video with computer vision. And they said, yeah, that sounds really interesting. And actually, that with the video, it sounds good. But how would that work? Because like at our team, like there is the grandpa of one kid that like films the matches, and we get like a USB stick afterwards. And would we give that to you? Like, how would that work? And this was basically when we said this is our first problem we need to solve. We can't go into generating data right away, because if you want data, you need video. And so we had a look, and we wanted to solve this problem first, and there wasn't basically anything here. So we had like camera systems that were like 10K per like or more, and there was like immensely demanding needs in terms of bandwidth with these solutions, like 10 Mbit per one cam, and you would have 3 of them. And so this was not possible. That's why we said, if we want to do this, we need to provide like a full service for the customers, having our own camera system that is able where you to record automatically. So you would plan the match, it records automatically. You would upload the match into the cloud. Then we would do the processing, and then as a third part, we will deliver these stats and the videos directly to the coaches. This is like the only way that it's easy enough for them in these lower leagues to use it. So diving right into it, we said, okay, we build a camera, we build a hardware setup. And this is basically how it looks like. So we have then quickly found a way of like using 2 4K cameras, and we send it together with a mounting plate and with our box. And the club would on their own mount it and calibrate it, and it's all done in 20 minutes. And then they're ready to go and ready to make their first analysis. And well, since we're here at Electronic Pulse, it's actually also interesting what's inside of this inside of this box, and it's basically like horsepower. So we're working here with NVIDIA. We're part of the NVIDIA Inception program, and we have a very powerful NVIDIA Jetson inside, a system on a module with a carrier board. We have an LTE module. We have SIM card inside, and we have a Wi-Fi module and a PoE switch inside, which means we can then like basically upload through the SIM card all the data into our Google Cloud with Google Cloud IoT, everything secure, everything connected. And what this offers is then a really nice high quality image up to 6K in a panoramic view, but with a flexible bandwidth. So even if a club has lower bandwidth, we can simply decide on the box, on the edge, like what are we doing, what are we uploading, and yeah, this is all possible to this neat little powerful chip there. And how does that look? Basically like this. So you can see here on the left, for example, the mounting at Wiener Sportclub. Cameras in the box with a beam mount, with different mounting systems, for example, for a pole mount, sorry, and the beam mount on the right, for mounting it under the roof of a stadium. So full flexibility for the clubs, easy to use, easy to mount. That is the most important thing here. Now that we have all the videos, like first step, like a little checkbox there. Now that we have it, we say, okay, let's generate some data from the videos. And we do it basically like this. We have our algorithm up and running. Hope you can see the video. And we would detect all the players, and you can see like the little numbers above. This indicates what team it is, and also like the player ID, and we keep that over time, the entire match. So with this, we generate XY data, like where the players located on the pitch for every player, and what we then can do is basically calculate like speed, distance, and on all these information out of it. So here you can see, for example, highlighted Alexander Grünwald from our partner club Austria Wien, and we basically detect him at every frame and can then track his distance, his covered area, and his speed, and then we can calculate high intensity runs, we can calculate heat maps, and all these kind of really interesting and exciting things. But to be honest, this multi-object tracking, so this task is called multi-object tracking, it has its pitfalls. So question is, what happens in these kind of situations? So we have a bulk of players all together. They're arguing, maybe there's someone on the ground, and yeah, what happens now? And this is exactly the problem with current multi-object trackers, and even for and even more for professional ones. They say, okay, if this kind of things happen, then there is a human that corrects this. One that says, okay, that player we lost him here. Now it's here. All these kind of things all these corrections are done by click farms currently. And we said this is not an option for us, since we're going in the mass market, and well, it needs to be completely automatic in order to make that happen. So here comes actually in our secret sauce, if you want to put it like that. And we are taking this multi-object tracking, these tracks that you saw earlier with the bounding boxes, with the little boxes moving, and you would take this and you would make a fingerprint out of it, and you would say, okay, this player there is in the formation, always on the left side. He's got that and that hair. He's got blue shoes, and he's got like a very specific way of running, of how this player moves. And we incorporate all this information into a fingerprint. And this way, after this kind of occluded, bulky situations, we can automatically re-identify the players. And therefore, we don't need any human interaction, and we can do this fully automatically. Maybe we don't have like this 99.9% accuracy like in a professional, but for us, 95% in our segment, that's perfectly fine. From this data, now we need to go into insights. We need to make this data understandable. We need to make it usable, and we need to make it actionable so that you get really nice insight out of it. And this is a really, really essential part here. So this is basically done with our platform. It's called Replay. First product started in October. And what you can do is you can plan your matches. Everything is processed, and then you get a video, a really nice video. And in the first package, you can use your smartphone, and you get basically like a panel like this on the right, and you can mark your own scenes. Later on, in other products, this is all automized, and you don't even need to take care about that yourself. So you mark your actions and your events during the match, so you spare time. You don't have to rewatch the whole match, and then you take the marked events and you organize them into playlists, which you then can watch with your players. You can paint little arrows and like what areas you wanna play, and what was the mistakes and what was made good. Or you can share it with your colleagues, with your co-trainers, all within the platform. But what about the data? So this is obviously the next step, and this is where we're heading. And this is also like data product is not yet on the market, but we're already very deeply investigating of how can we use that and how can we present that to coaches that don't have like a full-time coaching job, but they make it on their sides, they make it on the weekends. How can we make it very, very actionable for them? There is like, here I have like 3 examples for you what we're actually doing here. For example, on the left, you can see like how dominant are certain teams and like what area covered with Voronoi diagrams. So that's also very striking, like what areas are there, and what areas do we control and the opponent. And also like in the middle here, high intensity runs. Like you can only do like a few runs, a few very high intense sprints per match as a player, and you need to make them in the right moment. And this is here to exactly learn how to set them, how to fire them in the right moment, or average positions, like to really see where are holes in the defense of the opponent. How can we use that for our advantage? And these are like already ways of how to experiment and how to see like what this data can impact, and how grassroots football can use it and can benefit from it. So yeah, right now, like every club has basically all the videos and all the data, and that's it. Like everybody's happy, right? Well, not quite. Like this is a quote from one of our partners. He tested out a professional optical tracker, and he found, say, okay, like I have a center back, and he was just faster than Usain Bolt, and the system said this is true, and obviously it probably isn't, or it's probably impossible. So how to do that? This is what happened then is that he saw that and he said, okay, this platform, this algorithm from this professional optical tracker that he was testing, it's not trustworthy. I can't use it. I don't want to use it. And there is immediately mistrust. And this is a very dangerous path. And we said we definitely need to be very careful about that. And maybe just a quick example, like how this is even possible. Like for example, tracking 2 players here. Hope you can see it, like one with number 2 above, one with number 8 below in one frame. And the next frame, you see like there's some overlap, and maybe the algorithm gets confused a bit for a second, or for like even a part of a second. and says, okay, now that bounding box 2, the player 2 is now that big and is positioned here. What happens if I want to calculate the speed now? Say, okay, first position of number 2 was that. 1 frame later it was here. So we have like a delta S here in 3 meters and a delta in time, which is 40 milliseconds, 1 frame. And oops, it's not even like faster than Usain Bolt, but it's like faster than most of the cars. So yeah, one needs to be really careful about that. Another example, you might have seen that in the news. It's basically like this, that a camera is here, like an AI camera follows the ball, and it always detects the head of this referee as a ball, and it always goes there. And you can see that this is really a problem for algorithms. And this brings us actually to our funding, and we're really happy that we got funded for trustworthy AI by the Austria Wirtschaftsservice, which means that when designing an AI, you have to take care of several things, not just that like you get something out, but it needs to be explainable for the user. It needs to be transparent. What is actually going on, like being that the algorithm is explainable and interpretable. In our case with Usain Bolt, it would be that you say probably there was a measurement error because in the past this player was only his top speed like 29 kilometers per hour, and suddenly it's 37. So there's probably a problem with that. And to really highlight these kind of measurement errors, you have to use an unbiased data set that that the algorithm works exactly the same if we're tracking women, if we're tracking men, if we're tracking youth players, if we're tracking people of color, and we need to make sure that our data set is balanced and that we don't get any biases in there. Another point is accountability, so that the algorithm needs to be accountable for and we need to be accountable for the results. And of course, important prevention of harm, that the algorithm doesn't cause any harm here. So one learning here for us was an important learning, like really listen to your funding consultants. Like we were in touch with consultants from AWS, and we were really much focused on like getting deep tech funding, and there's like pre-seed, which is really deep tech, and we were so much focused on that. And they said, hey, maybe this trustworthy AI, it could be also cool for you, and it maybe makes really sense for us. And then it clicked basically for us and say, this could be a huge USP for us because no one else cares about trustworthiness in sports data. So this was a really important learning there. So yeah, funding is important, and it's good to have it, but well, even more important, I'd say, is to have a really good team. So I'm here. I'm the one here today presenting, but with my co-founders, is just so very important to have a good team. And there's on the one hand side, there's Simon. He's Technikum Wien master in sports equipment technology, but also a specialist in sales and marketing. Worked a lot of years in that areas, and taking care of like sports and the business parts. And then on the other hand side, there's Toby, also like a serial entrepreneur, founded his first company after school, and also interestingly FH Technikum student. So he finished his bachelor in smart homes and assistive technologies. So basically like hardware and software development. And he's taking care of everything regarding hardware and operations. And so like the Zone14 box and the cameras is basically his baby. And then there is our employees, our first employees, which is Thomas. He's a postdoc from Vienna University of Technology, and he is taking care, or he's really focused on the algorithm and improving that and getting deep into it. And then there is Raphael, former football professional. He also worked as an athletic coach for Rapid Wien, and as a youth coach there. Also next to working for us, he's also a coach for a football club on the side as well. So he's got really the market focus also there, and he knows how the football works. And our advisory board, like one of the pioneers in football analysis, like in the early 2000s, was on the pitches filming and analyzing Dr. Roland Leser, then also Manuel Ortlechner, now sports director of Austria Wien, and in terms of advisory in deep learning, Günther Klambauer from JKU. And next to this great team, of course, you also need like really great partners. And we're also happy to be part of this entrepreneurship initiative from FH Technikum, providing us great network. Yeah, we have an office space here, which also helps us a lot. And also talent, of course. This is really important, and it's even getting more important day by day, actually. Then already mentioned before, we were winners of the INITS Demo Day jury voting like 3 weeks ago, and INITS is also a great place for startups like us, getting really great mentoring and a great network. They're really well connected. Also, Austria Wirtschaftsservice, of course, we not only consider them as a funding bank, but we really see them as a partner as well, like getting challenged, getting ideas of how to get more how to get funding and all these things. So this is also really important. And I already said we're part of the NVIDIA Inception program, also very important for us in terms of like where to source hardware, how to get it, which is not very easy right now. So this of course also helps. But yeah, the topic for today, like as the electronic pulse, so startup success stories. But I need to say, like, success is always, I guess, how you define it. Like, what does really mean? What is success for you? Is it like learning something new? Is it, I don't know, broaden your horizon? Is it making money? And everybody needs to define it on their own. But what I definitely can say of our journey so far is that it's really a roller coaster ride, and everybody tells you that it's really that, but it's something else if you really experiencing it. So yeah, like maybe how can such a roller coaster ride look like from perspective of a sports tech startup? So you start with an idea basically, and you start off and like you're really motivated and really psyched about that, and then you get your first customers, your development customers, prototype customers, and they're really excited for it. And then you get accepted for your first incubator, and you make really good progress with your product and all. And then, well, suddenly you realize that something's wrong and something feels off with your co-founder, and you talk about it, but you can't find a real good way. And so as it sometimes happens, and actually for startups a lot, actually, that co-founders split up, and then you really for a short time hit rock bottom, and you lie in bed at night and say, okay, what just happened? Can we continue? But yeah, you push through, and you gotta in short time get a new co-founder that's like even better fit. And well, then your ex co-founder comes back and says, I want some money. And yeah, I guess like, not sure like who of you had to go through like some split ups, but it was definitely my first time where I needed a lawyer at when I split up with someone. So also learning, but yeah, if you have to be resilient, and you have to push through, and then you get funding and you get your first customers, and yeah, it's really a ride. And I guess what's the most important learnings for me here, and what I can share is you gotta be open, you gotta learn quickly, you gotta work smart and I guess hard, but like the most important thing is always, like for me, to always have fun, and try to have fun, although it's sometimes cumbersome and it's sometimes tedious. But I guess this also helps to be really resilient, and to make everything turn out in a good way. Yeah, and actually when I made this slide, I actually saw that basically it's like upside down, like flipped. Also, like the roller coaster, it's more fun when it goes down, but in business it's actually the other way around. And to be even more honest, it looks more like that. So you don't see like the roller coaster right in front of you. You just have like a little view in front. You've got your vision where you want to go, but like everything can happen. And for us, well, we're just at the beginning, actually. So we started, but we have still a cool way, and a hopefully good way in front of us, and it just begun. And like for us, it's really just getting off the production, really scaling that, improving the product. So like I always like, there's like products never finished, so you always have to invest in there. So also like the algorithm, so this is really a core, improving that. Also, like a little ad here, we're hiring, so if anybody knows someone in data engineering this wants to work for a cool sports tech startup, happy to connect. And then there's also the like big next step, the entry in Germany and Switzerland, and to expand and really bring football stats and video analysis to the masses. So thank you guys. This was basically Zone14 in a nutshell. Thanks again for having me here, and I'm happy to answer all your questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lukas, for that very insightful and honest presentation about image recognition and AI and roller coasters.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that football is $1 million business, but nevertheless, I never saw a PowerPoint slide with the words Austria Wien and deep learning on it, you know. So you made me happy as a football fan and as a tech fan, which doesn't necessarily mean that I'm an Austria fan. But anyway, thank you very much. So
yes, you sometimes you actually have to be a little bit careful, like
yeah,
whether you present Austria Wien
yeah,
in front of which audience. Austria, there is in Vienna, there is always like a little bit of a problem there.
yeah.
But yeah, and to be honest, Austria is really investing a lot of brain power there of how to remove and this was also like their restart. It was important for them that they are getting out and they are really looking for the best ways and for modern ways to improve their game and their football and their everything around it.
So let me please just address one question before we go into Q&A. If I got it right, you convinced Austria and other clubs to partner with you before you even had one single thing of technology, you know, not even a mock-up, as I understand it, right? So how did you do that to convince them without any like proof?
Yeah, actually, we had some mock-ups there. We said, okay, we outlined what we want to do, and then we said we were very honest about like we are here. We can do this. We have the technical background. We have the opportunities. We have the skills, and we could do something really great here. And we outlined some ways, and then there was of course a discussion like how would they use it, how they will see it, and this is actually really successful with the clubs, and they were like, we didn't have to look, to be honest, broad, like have to get our first 6 product customers with which we developed. So this was, they all were pretty psyched about that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So let's get into Q&A. Do we have any questions, any remarks?
I would like to start with the first question here, maybe just a basic and more general question to follow up on your one of your last slides on your outlook. Maybe what tips do you have for people interested in funding a hardware or a software startup, and maybe you can elaborate on which challenges or which obstacles you had to climb on the way. You demonstrated it with your roller coaster, but maybe list one of the biggest obstacles that you had to climb.
Biggest obstacles, I mean, there is like it's always like small steps, and you have to our philosophy maybe there is like if you see like a pile of like dirt, you just take the shovel and you take one step at a time, but like really be very iterative. So try out hardware, try out the next version and the next version, and then think like when's the best time to give that to a partner that is even more like that can scale it even better. In terms of funding, I guess it was up until now, it was like in our stages, it was it's often at the pitches, for example, it really helped if the people could hold something. That maybe sounds sounds too easy, but that if they could hold something, it's strange, but it gave us I don't know, some credibility, I guess, and yeah, that was in terms of like these pitches, for example.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
So anyone else?
Maybe also use the chat for your questions if you were too shy to speak. It's on the bottom right, but maybe I'm just going to follow up here with another questions. I have a few, if that's okay. Maybe to get a little bit into detail, what happens with substitute players when one player you assigned an ID to gets off the field, a new player comes in, do you have to like manually change that maybe in like post-production?
Yeah, exactly. So we recognize and we see that. So our algorithm detects if there is like changes, if somebody goes out of the region of interest, which is basically the pitch, and another one comes in due to this fingerprint. But we can't know like what exact player this is. So we need someone then to really tell us that player is Martin Hinteregger, and this is like the assignment of the players is still manual.
Understood. Okay. Maybe another question on the influences that you have on the field or on the pitch, as you say. How do you cope with like optical influences, like weather conditions or a change of light, etc.? Because I saw the picture before with the referee being illuminated from the sun at sunset, and the camera recognizing it as a ball. So how do you cope with those kind of issues?
First of all, getting a very heterogeneous data set. So really having all the system that we have installed, getting a lot of data through different games, different day times, like from different teams. That is one. And also another point is what is very important is data augmentation, which means there are augmentation libraries that can simulate weather like rain, snow, fog, and it's also very important to add more training data in with these simulated weather conditions.
Please just let me add one more thing on image recognition, because I know a startup is all about executing and doing it step by step, but I think you have a lot of use cases to use all these technology, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Not only football, but other sports and a whole other different sectors and use cases.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, theoretically, you could use this approach for every passive sensor. But as a startup especially, you have to really focus. And we said we want to do this for football. We are very passionate about football, and we want to have this as a first use case there and a first getting out and getting to market. But as you said, it can be used for all kinds of industries and verticals actually.
Yeah, Markus, sorry to interrupt.
No worries. That was kind of interesting though, as to hear as well. My final question here, since you were talking about scalability and all your future options and that, do you think that real-time analysis will be or might be a next step in your startup, that you could say, okay, first half played, you noticed some changes in the opponent's players or whatever, and you can prepare for second half, so to say?
Exactly. So that's exactly the next steps here, and this was like we're developing all our prototypes very iteratively, as already said, and we pitched this to our prototype customers. Like, what about halftime analysis? Is that something that you want to do? And then their eyes lit up, and it's like, oh my god, yeah, they want to do it, even in the lowest leagues. And this is really cool to see, and it's definitely the direction that it develops. Yeah.
Great, very interesting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I would have like one last question, if nobody else is joining us, about your competitors and your competition. Who's your main competitor?
For us, this is we distinguish ourselves in like two ways. There's the one way, this high tech, deep tech tracking algorithms in professional. They cost like, I don't know, 20, 50,000 a year. And you get like 99.9% accuracy, and these algorithms have the most expensive hardware. And like in Germany, there's like in every stadium in the Bundesliga are 16 cameras around the pitch, and they detect X, Y, and Z data, like jumping when they're jumping. So this is the one part where we have competitors, and there's the other part in the grassroots football, which is mainly like live streaming video providers that say, okay, you can monetize your video from your match on Sunday and place like a sponsor there. And we see ourselves like high tech, but for the grassroots. So we're opening up a really new segment here.
Okay. Yeah. So Marcus, do we have some minutes left, or what do you think?
I'm sorry, I was muted. I think we do have 5 more minutes left. So if there are any more questions, please feel free. Maybe, or just to mingle and have an exchange. That would be great.
Maybe a critical question, because we're so proud of our startups and our alumni. I can't even think of any critical thing, but maybe you can.
We're always also happy to hear the critical questions. This is the only way that you can grow.
As well, but I am biased. Okay. So maybe we could close like the official part, and I would thank you on behalf of Technikum Wien to have this platform and to be able to present Zone14. As I said, we are very proud of that, and it's all about products, but when it comes to tech startups, we love the tech side as well. Which isn't as necessarily the same like the product is and the service, but it was a lot about tech, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Yeah.
Totally enjoyed it. Also, on behalf of Infineon, thank you so much, Lukas, for all the interesting insights today. Also, thanks to our audience for joining in and for your participation. Also, keep an eye open for further keynotes of Electronic Pulse. You're going to be able to see it under infineon.com/hub. And there's going to be a recording as well from today's session on all the typical, platforms, etc. Sandra Stromberger is going to help us here as well. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. Hopefully see you soon.
Thank you. And from my side, thanks for having me here and giving me the opportunity. Thanks.